Milliman is among the world's largest providers of actuarial risk management and technology solutions. Using big data, predictive models, AI and powerful analytics, Milliman helps insurers to make informed decisions to reduce risk, increase efficiency and improve customer experience. Their consulting and advanced analytics capabilities cover healthcare, P&C and life insurance, financial services and employee benefits, helping their clients with data-driven insights to protect the health and financial well-being of people everywhere. Please welcome Milliman.
Hello everyone, how are we doing? And nearly the end of the first day, I hope you've all had as good a day as me. It's great to feel the energy here. This event, I've always said, despite going through more events than I can imagine over the last decade, this event is always my favorite, so great to be here again. Welcome to the Milliman panel. I'm really proud to present on a topic that I think is really important at the moment for this second generation of insurtech. So foundations to insurance innovation and smart ways of structuring your business and partnering for success. We started thinking about a quote from Churchill: "We shape our buildings and thereafter they shape us." What does this mean? This means that sometimes the way that we really structure our business either helps or hinders innovation. Now, my background, if you don't know me, I'm a senior consultant at Milliman, who leads insurtech in the UK now, but I've spent the last 15 years building insurtechs. I was most recently at MediPets as their chief underwriting officer. Before that, I was building a household product and indeed won one of these diamonds about 7 years ago. And before that, I was founding team of a motor telematics company. Three really, I've had great successes. Every success I've had has been because of great partnerships. It's never come alone. And I've noticed that in the second generation of insurtech, really smart foundations has been the difference between success and failure. That being said, when I thought about writing about this, my favorite way to learn about these is in case studies. So I pulled together 4 of my favorite people who have got in 4 brilliant businesses, and I thought I'd let them tell their stories rather than me try and do that from a second hand. So I'm going to have a few minutes with all of them where they can tell you about their businesses, tell you about their thoughts, and then we're going to have a discussion afterwards. So I'm going to start here with Catherine Barton from Key. So please tell us all about yourself and your business.
Thank you, Charlotte. So hello everyone, my name is Catherine Barton. And I'm a commercial director at Key Insurance, which is the first algorithmically driven follow insurance business in Lloyd's of London. And we launched in 2021, so we're just in year 4 now. And our vision was to empower brokers to be able to access follow capacity much more quickly, basically at the touch of a button. And what we created was a platform which enabled them to get quotes within seconds for each line of business that we chose to write. So we did that for 3 years before then expanding to offer additional capacity through 3 insurer partners.
Fantastic. And Key, if you don't know it, is an absolutely brilliant example of insurtech that's really flying at the moment in a really different line of business. So how do you think innovation is superpowered or hindered by how you decided to structure the business at Key?
I think the structuring point is really important. I think if I go back to the very beginning, the Key was the brainchild of Brit's then CEO and CFO, and the CFO is now the CEO of Key. And they had this idea that there was an opportunity in the follow market, and they decided to set up that business as an independent business. They got external capacity, external funding, I should say, to support that. So from Blackstone as well as from Brit's parent company, Fairfax. And that meant there was a financial independence. It meant that, so those 2 partners, super important from the outset. It meant that we were then able to, first of all, be able to go and write 400 million of premium in our first year of underwriting, which was incredible because we'd raised 500 million of capacity, of backing capital.
Just to repeat that number again, how much did you write in the first year?
Over 400 million.
So this is how you get to real scale.
Yeah,
Great partnerships.
So that 500 million fundraise was absolutely instrumental. It also meant that we were able, with our team internally, to focus on the bits that really mattered in terms of, for example, getting approval from Lloyd's, making sure we had the right sort of underwriting disciplines we wanted to have in place, and having the right sort of approaches for setting up our technology, setting up our algorithms. But then in turn, we were able to spend some of the money that we'd raised to work with Google Cloud, to set up the platform, and to work with UCL to create the initial iterations of our algorithms. So that was really important for us. And the relationship with Brit was also critical, because it meant we didn't have to do everything ourselves. We were able to effectively use, and through a service agreement, obviously, but their finance, their actuarial, their risks, their backing IT, their HR capabilities, the list goes on. But we were able to have a really core-focused team of people who were key, doing the things that key needed to do, but with the support of those partners who were able to bring all of their expertise. And I think in an insurtech business as well, really valuable, that really strong insurance foundation, so we could focus on the bits that were different and innovative about Key, while all of the stuff that was important to, for example, the regulator, and making sure that we wrote a sound, profitable portfolio from the outset was all in place.
And I mean, that's an incredible ecosystem, and that word focus, I think, is going to keep coming back. But how important was trust when you were building all that?
I think trust mega important as always, and I think that the area where I think trust has even become even more important is actually as we've evolved our business model to working with external partners, because we've needed to demonstrate to we're working now with Aspen, with Travellers and Beazley to provide extra capacity, because brokers wanted not to just be key capacity, they wanted choice. And the relationships of trust we've needed to build with those partners are really important in terms of, understanding the portfolios we're writing, the way that our algorithms work, the way that our platform is working in offering to brokers, but also, setting, I suppose, the trust around what does each partner actually bring to the relationship, what is each getting out of the relationship, and are we actually aligned and pointing in the same direction from the outset? Because without that sort of foundation being right, I think it would be very difficult as things evolve.
Fantastic. So I think, just to pick on some of those key things, the pieces around sticking to what you're great at and how it allows you to superpower. And on that note, passing over to Craig. Craig, can you introduce yourself and your brilliant business?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks, Charlotte. My name is Craig Willifier. I'm co-founder and CTO at Genesis Technologies. So we really set out to and provide an end-to-end policy admin platform, so more on the technical side or the technology side. So end-to-end policy admin, fully cloud, fully modular. But our real focus is to be able to provide value back to customers in a very agile manner. So very no-code tooling capability, API first. So very much focusing on creating ecosystems of partners where we can plug in various different technology or insurtechs throughout the insurance value chain.
So it's fair to say you're this incredible foundation in which lots of insurtechs have built. But how important do you think it is to stick to your expertise as you grow? Because there's lots of pressure when you're growing as an insurtech do you go sideways or forwards? But do you think it's important to stick to expertise as you grow and replicate that success?
Yeah, so I think two points to that. From a Genesis perspective, we really have said, let's stick to what we do well, which is the core back-end insurance management piece, and create these ecosystems of like-minded partners that we can offer back to our customers. I think from what we've seen, the insurance industry as a whole is really ripe for disruption from a product perspective, and that's what we try and provide back to our customers, that you have this fail-fast approach where you can try ideas, tweak those ideas, change those ideas, and be able to make those moves quickly. I think a good example is we're working with a very large mutual in the UK in the medical space, and one of their key problems they were trying to solve is claims, as an example, required human capital to approve every claim. Where we've got to now, 80% of every claim is automatically approved with fraud detection, with image reconning. So it's the ability to have technology that fits into these different gaps, being able to automate it and only escalate exceptional cases. So they're sitting at about 80%. We're hoping to get them to about 95% fully automated. I think another good example is one of our customers, still back in COVID, felt that certain of their product lines weren't really targeting that kind of phase within what the world was going through. And they went and innovated their own product called COVID Shield or Pandemic Shield that actually insured people with COVID. And they managed to do that within 10 days, right, from ideation all the way to deployment. So it's that ability to be able to deploy really quickly.
So it's that incredible efficiency, isn't it, you get from the focus. So, we've seen around sticking to what you're good at and then the efficiency. And how can you minimize that complexity as you get bigger?
Yeah, so I think the picking the right partners are really key. Is the maturity and the capability of the technology there? How can it be integrated? And I think it's always focusing back on what you do well and stick to that, making sure that you focus on the right things.
Fantastic. So 2 amazing case studies, on to a third. Dina, please introduce yourself and your really interesting business.
Hello everyone, I'm Dina Murfitt, I'm the COO at Artificial. We have a suite of technology products for the algorithmic underwriting space, and we have a lot of partnerships, which is why I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, how do those great partnerships lend different solutions?
So we're working across the industry. We have a partnership with PPL in the marketplace, with Apollo in the underwriting space, and with Lockton for brokers, among others. And what we're really seeking to do is find innovation in those partnerships. And the way you can create a partnership that really drives innovation is through people. So it isn't technology that drives innovation, it's people and teams. And so what we've had to work really hard to do is build an embedded team within the partnership, where there's an awful lot of touch points. So it's not just project manager to project manager, but it's engineer to engineer. And Apollo are always saying to us that we develop at hyper speed, which we take as a massive compliment. But I think the effectiveness of the partnership really steps up a level.
I mean, that's so interesting, isn't it? Just to pause on that, we've got one of the most innovative companies at the moment in the London markets. And you're sitting here telling us, actually, it's all about the relationships.
Exactly.
And how about alignment of interest as well? How do you make sure that happens?
So the partnership really stepped up in effectiveness when we created a solutions engineering role and had someone sitting co-located with Apollo, with their underwriters, in order for us to really understand their process. So Artificial, we say people first, process second, technology third. And so that really made a big difference for us, was that co-location. And other things that we did, our CEO, David King, he joined an all-hands within Apollo and helped to present the vision to everybody in the organisation, so that the entire team was on the same page.
And it comes back to this trust point, doesn't it, as well? Is that,
yes.
Again, I'm without putting words in your mouth, I'm guessing you're also going to say that trust is absolutely essential to this innovation that you're building.
Exactly. So if you have an embedded partnership team who trust one another, this is where innovation, it's safe to innovate together. I think there's a law called Conway's Law, which some of you may have heard of, which says that the structure of your technology solution will reflect the structure of the communication channels within the team that developed the software. And I think that's especially true with partnerships, whereby if you can have a highly embedded team with high frequency feedback loops on the development of the software, it's going to be a much more embedded piece of technology within the partner's workflow.
And this is so important for this insurance industry because, just as another little reveal, you didn't start in insurance. You're incredibly successful in the wider tech space. So,
Yes.
if you just let everybody know a little bit about the companies you were in before insurance.
Yes, so I've only been in insurance for 3 years. I was previously at Flock, the motor fleet insurer. Prior to that, I've been working fast growth technology scale-up since the late 90s. At brands like lastminute.com and eBay and an advertising technology firm called Unruly. And I think I can see a pattern in that whenever a scale-up reaches an inflection point, it is usually through an incredibly powerful partnership that just accelerates success.
So trust, sticking to what you're good at, and people, from the tech person on the stage. People. Amazing. And on the subject of people, to come over to our Chief Commercial Officer on the stage, Harry, please introduce yourself and the great business you have.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Harry van der Zwan. I'm Chief Broker and Partnership with NN, heading together with the 9 business lines we have in the market to align the interest of the brokers towards us and vice versa. Also, we do that on the customer side. And all the things were mentioned already, trust, alignment and people, I fully support on it. And I think the people part is often to be forgotten. So we have great technologies, we have a lot of businesses, we align a lot, but at the end it's about the trust and the partnership and alignment of the strategies of both partners which can make the difference. And that's what I'm all about doing the whole thing. I worked for Zurich, for Aegon, for Delta Lloyd and NN, and mostly in the business innovation, non-life or partnerships.
And how have you seen great partnerships lend different solutions in the innovation space?
Now, I think in the business area of brokers, that's a big part of the business in Holland for us, you see that the speed of innovation is different between the broker and an insurer. I think the insurers have more broader view on innovation and on technology. You see that the brokers are mostly have enough money but are smaller, so have a higher speed. What we were confronted with is that when we have talked with the bigger, the Gallaghers, the Howdens, the Aons or the Söderbergs, which company is this, they have a strategy where they find innovation and new business as an interesting angle. And of course, as an insurer, as National Nederlanden, we want to cooperate with that within the limits of our underwriting policies, etc. Only the speed where you develop, let's say, an API, or you create, I call it always a very smooth and broad highway to the broker, is depending also the other side, which technology is there, what speed is there on the innovation. And align that in more sort of strategy meeting is crucial, because otherwise both teams are working on maybe the same but not on the same speed, and the outcome is really different. So it looks very simple to make a partnership, but it's about behavior, it's about the interest, about the strategy. And my experience, and we try to learn every day on that, is that just listen better to what is needed on the other side of the table.
So communication.
It should be mutual interest. I think it was said already. And the partnership will never work when one will win. I think you should both win.
And have you got any lessons from where you've seen partnerships fail or not work? Not to bring the room down, but what's to be avoided?
They never fail.
Learning opportunities, I think we say.
I think it's underestimating also the social part of a partnership. You must really like each other. And I don't mean that too soft, but you must understand each other, and the willingness to listen is very important, especially in the business to business is sometimes complicated. And I think it's also important that you think about, if I work with a broker or with a corporate, they have also customers. So innovation should benefit also for their customers, so that the value chain of innovation, of improvement, is mutual benefit for everyone. So if I help a company with prevention schemes on income protection, through pension, with benchmarking, I make that customer better. The relation with the broker is also better. So you should more think in the several steps of the value chain in insurance, and not only from your own perspective.
This alignment of interest is so interesting. In my insurance career, it's very tempting when you're negotiating a contract to go really hard and just try and get everything you can. I think this happens a lot sometimes between carriers or reinsurers or insurtechs or large partnerships, large retailers. The challenge with that is a few years down the line, when one side is actually doing an awful lot better than the deal than the other, what do you do then? Yeah. So this alignment of interest point, so interesting.
Been one time in the beginning of my career, we tried to build a partnership with a big company, an oil company, and we worked several months on it, but at the end, the strategy outcome which was needed from that company was different than ours. So you worked for nothing, to say. So this alignment is crucial in partnership.
Amazing. So as you can see, 4 amazing businesses, but we've got some real themes coming through. I'd love to come back and talk a little bit more about what ingredients you need to make a partnership greater than the sum of its parts. I mean, at Key, those are some really great competitive businesses you've put together. So how do you manage to pull them all together and get more out the other side than you put in?
I think it's finding the areas where you couldn't do it just all by yourself. So if I take the example I said earlier, we alone could not provide more capacity to brokers by ourselves. We could go and raise more on our own account, but if what they wanted was diversity, we couldn't do that by ourselves. Some of our partners as well are really curious about learning how does digital follow work in Lloyd's. We're both able to bring some, and they're bringing obviously the capacity and potential for us to work together in much broader relationships as we go forwards as well. So I think what makes for a great partnership is something where you can't do it by yourself. You need the other part, but where also that there's an alignment of interest, both from, I suppose, the grassroots, where a lot of the ideas come from, but right the way through to the top of the leadership. Because without that sort of senior stakeholder buy-in, that this, of all the things that the business could do, is something that it's actually going to choose to invest and spend its time on, so that there's that real sort of investment to actually get the value out of it. I think without that, I think a lot of things don't go as far as they could and aren't as successful as they might be.
Fantastic. And Craig, same question. How do you think a partnership can be greater than the sum of its parts?
Yeah, so I think we touched on culture, and we've spoken about, Genesis has about a pro-adaptive approach, so from leadership all the way down through technology, through culture, to make sure that change management is within the organization. But I think one of the other key things is using the right tech for the right objectives. So clearly understanding what the objectives are that the organization is trying to achieve. And I think we joked about it a bit earlier, but blockchain was massively hyped, saying blockchain's a great technology, everyone needs to use it. And there's some real good use cases for it, but a lot of these things hype, and for me, it's about making sure that you clearly understand the business objective, you pick the right technology partners and drive that through your organization and be able to measure it at the end.
And that, I have to say, last time I was here at DA, every other presentation was all about blockchain. And again, not that it's not great technology, but I think it was definitely a technology looking for a solution at that time. So it's been good to see on the AI today that people are really kind of hammering home that use it where you need it, not all the
right
time.
Things. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Dina, how about anything to add there on how you can make a partnership greater than the sum of its parts?
I would definitely underscore the play to your strengths message. As I was saying before, the importance is around the people and the team and the way the team is structured to partner with one another. I think it's the same kind of emergent good things that come from any excellent piece of teamwork. So, it's extremely motivating to be part of something that is building momentum. You feel like you're sharing a mission, you're kind of building positive change. That's where the added kind of motivation comes from, I think, is that positive teamwork and interaction, as well as greater market coverage and more shared marketing and, the kind of blocking and tackling of getting your message out there.
Harry, anything to add?
Now, maybe a different angle. I think it's a bit said already, but the commitment in the front is important. So if you see a project together with a company or a broker, if they don't add capacity to it in development, then you're getting a loner, no? And this partnership don't work like that. So I think you should, I call it dare to share. What is our common interest and how can we do it? But also dare to choose. Mostly when you talk big company to big company, you see 1,000 opportunities and probably 990 will fail. But which are the ones who have the most promising future together? And it has to do with the commitment of both teams. And the last I would say, see it as a journey. A very famous innovator in Holland said once in the workshop, I developed an idea and I went from A to B. But at B I could see my victory, which was C. But if I never had to go to B, I would never have been in C. And that's often, I think, the case. That you think, oh, we're going to do something in AI or whatever. But maybe it's something much more simple or something complex. So you should also always keep open how your partnership evolves. And you should both win on the business side. We're on the business. We're not there for nothing. We want to earn money together and make customers more happy. So,
it can be hard to pivot when you're in a partnership, isn't it? It's that great alignment of interest, because sometimes you're halfway down and you think, we didn't quite start this right. But if you haven't built that trust and that long-term thinking, then you never get there. Do you think you have to win at every stage for this? Or, like you say, with the journey, do you think it can be a longer-term vision?
No, I think you should also be very pragmatic in it. You should also dare to stop.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not beneficial, don't do it. You know? But I think if you listen to each other, you have a good idea, the strategy aligned, the teams are there, and it's beneficial for the customer, then you can do it. Mostly it's about time. Yeah? Do we have enough time? Do we commit ourselves enough? Or is it just your priority 16? Well, it's my priority 2. Yeah, that don't work, of course.
Yeah. Wow. So we've got some real themes going on here. It's amazing how much the human side keeps coming out. Again, incredibly innovative companies, but the whole idea of alignment keeps coming up. I have to come for some last words around predictions from this really interesting crew. Maybe I could start with you, Dina. A bit different. Predictions for the next stage of insurance innovation.
I have 2 words. More partnerships. So I think there are a lot of insurtechs, smaller companies who are looking for that inflection point partnership, and they will work extremely hard for their partners because their success depends on it. So it's very high stakes for the smaller business. So yes, I'm here to advocate for more partnerships, and obviously the proliferation of APIs.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That.
And what kind of partners would you be looking for at Artificial here?
Well, anybody who likes the sound of what I've said this evening, I would say. So if you also believe that partnership comes from people and innovation comes from people, then and you're interested in having a very close working relationship with high frequency iterations of the solution at hand, then come speak to us.
Sounds good. They need to move quick.
They do.
But they need to be people. Craig.
Yeah, so I always like to say, a lot of what I look at doing is changing the world, but for the consumer. So I think it's very consumer focused. It's very much people focused within organizations and driving change. I think often we look 2 years ahead. I think Bill Gates said, looking 2 years ahead, we should be looking 10 years ahead at what's coming down the line and trying to understand that and unpack that. Talking about the hype cycles, AI is definitely going to change the way the world operates. Within Genesis, we're doing a lot of Copilot stuff and auto-generating code, and it creates massive amounts of efficiency. So I see the same in the insurance space. I think there's so many different value adds that AI can create. Again, I think it's using it for the right reasons. It probably should be a bit more suggestive than making decisions and just pushing out information. So the more that AI models can assist in underwriting or pricing and be able to bring that data together to help decisions to be made, I think is where there's going to be a real big game changer.
Fantastic. Catherine, any last words?
think mine's going to be
Great
a talent-related one, actually, which is I think that going forwards, the companies that are going to be the most successful are going to be the ones that are able to bring the brilliant technology and the deep insurance understanding together. Because if I think about the partnerships we're involved with, they work well because there's a deep, solid insurance foundation and a focus on profitability and those sorts of things. And I think there is going to be a bit of a challenge in there as well around making sure that in the generations and younger people who are coming through businesses, that there's enough of that deep understanding of insurance so that those lessons are there to know how to respond as different situations that are insurance specific arise.
And in different ways of working, you know, leaning into really, I think it's a responsibility of all senior people to reach their hand down, isn't it, to the next generation and help bring them on. Any last predictions on this stage?
Yeah, I have only 30 seconds now. No, I think what we not really hit was a bit the decomposition of the value chain. You see, of course, a lot of companies focus on the core to improve it, to make it more lean and mean, cost efficient. But you see also little partners around the core of insurance companies or brokers who can add really interesting added value to the total value chain. So I think we will have a world of more connectivity, I think, and AI will help and other technologies, but also don't overestimate it. I think because at the end we're all social animals, and if you look to the social behavior of people, it's very hard to change that. And that's our bias. We can have the best technology, but the consumers don't understand it anymore. So never forget that we're just human beings and use technology to the max, but in a way people keep understanding what you're doing. So.
What a great wrap up here at ITC DIA. Thank you so much to my panel. As you've heard here, the really great technology, innovation people, but all really highlighting the importance of the great communication, trust, and building mutual understanding. So if you like what you've heard, please come and talk to us at Milliman as well. We look forward to loads more great innovative businesses coming out of this event today. Thank you.
Thank you.